Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mackenzie. I am a self-taught nail artist and I like to share YouTube videos to see hopefully if stuff that I know will help anyone else. So this is my friend Kerrigan. I did her nails it was probably about a month ago at this point, maybe a little bit more. Every time I do a new set, or any set at all, I make sure my first step is to push the cuticles back. Now, I don't think I've ever recorded doing a full set of acrylic nails on somebody else. So, I think that this was a really good video so you can see kind of how I work. I tried to leave as much as I could in real time so you can see how fast I do work. I don't work crazy fast because I want to make sure I'm being careful. I also really like to chat with my clients, which is something that I think sometimes is a little bit of a detriment to me because I work a little bit slower. But right now I am taking my e-file on either a 3 or a 4,000 RPM, which is a very low speed. And I have a square diamond cuticle bit. This one is from Young Nails, but I have other ones that I've gotten from Amazon, Exclusive Nail Couture. And I am taking it very parallel to the nail, so it's very flat to the nail, and I'm just cleaning up from the middle up the left side of her nail, because this is going to get all of the cuticle off that my arbor band might not be able to reach. And then once I'm finished with this, I'm going to switch my e-file onto reverse, and I'm going to go from the middle up the right side. The reason that I do that is because the e-file bit is pushing, by switching the direction, it's pushing the skin away from the nail plate so that you can reveal a little bit more nail estate, as some of my YouTube friends would say. I really do apologize that I have not been present for, probably it's close to 6 months, I would say. Life got crazy after I graduated from college. I was trying to get a teaching job. That didn't work out, so I was going on a lot of interviews in the summer. That didn't really work out. I was also working in the summer, and we were working to try to get into our house, which we are very close to now. Hopefully we can get in before Thanksgiving. That's the goal. But then I did start a new job as a building substitute in a middle school, and I have for the past month been a long-term English substitute for 8th grade. So needless to say, I haven't been recording, and I do feel really bad about that, but hopefully once it gets closer to the holidays, I'll feel a surge of, I guess, inspiration and have a little bit more free time. So hopefully I get to share more with you guys. I know I don't get a ton of views, but it is nice if it could help anybody out, and people seem to really like my stamping content, so I will work on that. My next step when I'm doing a full set is to take the shine off of the nail with an arbor band. So I prefer arbor bands that are 150 grit. 180 grit would also work. I wouldn't go anything finer than that, and I also wouldn't go anything coarser than a 150. Like, I would not go 120 or 100. That's just it's too coarse for the natural nail. And as you can see, I'm not going super fast, but I'm barely touching the nail. Like, you can see where I touch it because it scuffs it up a little bit. That's all I'm doing, is I'm ever so slightly abrasing the nail, and I am taking away the natural surface shine. Now, she does have a little bit of, it's probably glue, so it's not damage. You can see where my e-file doesn't hit right away. She had just recently gotten married, and she had just come back from her honeymoon. She went to Disney World, and as jealous as I was, she's one of my best Disney friends, so she had a wonderful time. Her wedding was beautiful. But due to scheduling conflicts, we didn't have time to schedule an appointment for her wedding nails, so I sent her some press-ons, and that's what the glue's from. So now I'm doing dehydrator. Now, this is a dehydrator that is specifically meant to go with this. Actually, you know what? I bet this is primer. Yeah, it's primer. I think I forgot to record dehydration. But this is a primer, and it specifically goes with the brand that I'm using. The acrylic line I am using, goodness, is the Nail Career Education Susie's Clean Acrylic line. And I'm using the Fast Set today. So now I'm just going into Fit Forms. I do like these Young Nails forms. At first I kind of didn't like them because I thought that they were a little bit more flimsy than I'm used to. But I find that they work pretty well for short nails because I've always kind of felt, I don't know, wasteful, I guess, when I use like forms for longer nails on people who just want shorter nails. So I'm just making sure that the form fits under her free edge, what little of it she has. I typically like to remove most of the free edge, but not all of it, when I am doing a full set of nails, because I like to be able to have something to slide that form under just a tiny bit, but I don't like to leave a whole lot because some people don't like the look of it. It's not really going to hurt anything, but it also can mess up the adhesion because the way that nails grow, sometimes the free edge will kind of curl away from the acrylic. And people think it's lifting, but it's really just how the nail grows. These Young Nails forms are pretty sticky, so that's nice. I go and I form one hand at a time. I know it's probably not reflective of how I work when I'm filming, because when I'm working, I will do one hand, and then I'll do that, and then I'll go and form the other hand and do that. But at pretty much everything else, I just go completely through all 10 nails. But for the, purpose of filming, sometimes it's easier to just go through one hand completely and then go through the other hand completely. I'm sorry that my nails are a little bit of a mess in this video. I had fall nails on my one hand, and then my other hand I had like marbled nails with some hollow taco, which was really nice. So I forgot to record the pinky, oops, but I am taking one bead. I usually, with nails this short, I will do it in one bead mostly, and then just add where I need to. But I always make sure to get the cuticle nice first. There are so many different ways to sculpt an acrylic nail that I'm not going to tell you that one way is right or wrong. I know a lot of people are proponents of the sculpt the free edge first and then overlay it, which is fine if that's what you want to do. I kind of go back and forth, honestly. I'm not too consistent. It's going to depend on the length of the nail that I'm doing. For example, these are very short, kind of rounded almond nails. And if I had a little bit of a bigger brush, I probably could do them in one bead. But I am not super worried about that. My biggest concern is the cuticle area and making sure that the nail has the structure to stay. Now, her nails are not very long, so a nail doesn't need to have a huge apex, which is some people say it's like a bump in the middle, but you normally see when you're looking at a nail from a side view that it's thin towards the cuticle. It gets comes like a little mountain in the middle, and then it gets thinner towards the free edge. And that apex is what's going to help add strength. Like I said, her nails are not long, so her nails don't need a huge apex. I will reinforce a little bit more on hers than I might on somebody else's, though, because she does have a 1-year-old, and he's pretty active, so I do want to make sure that she's not just breaking nails all the time. Luckily, most of my clients and my friends are aware of how long they can go reasonably for their lifestyle, so I don't have to talk people out of lengths a whole lot. But I do know some people do have that concern where people want nails that are too long for their lifestyle, and that is honestly one of the biggest culprits of lifting, I find. That and trying to stretch appointments out too long, I would say. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to sculpt these nails. I spend quite a bit of time on one nail when I'm doing my application with a full set because I want to make sure that my shape is really established because I do not like filing, and in the end, I feel like this is what's going to make you quicker. This was a big mistake I made when I first started, so if you don't take anything away from this video, take this away from this video. When I started doing nails, I just wanted all of the product to be there. So I would just kind of slap the product on, and then I would just file it all off, and it would take me forever with a file. And because I had such thick nails to file, a lot of times I got overzealous with the e-file. I led to damaging my nails a lot, and I really kind of taught myself how to use an e-file incorrectly. So when I started paying more attention to my application and sculpting with my brush and not my file or my e-file, I became a lot more successful, and my nails were also lasting longer because if you have to remove a ton of bulk, honestly, especially around the cuticle, the vibration from the e-file is going to make you more prone to lifting. So you want to try to get the cuticle area as nice and flush as you can, so that you have to do very minimal filing around there, so you're not like jostling it too much, I guess. And I then began to think of my e-file as, you don't have to apply a ton of pressure to get the product off because you don't have a ton of product to get off. So that's something that really helped me. I kind of had to think about doing nails in a little bit of a different way. So I try to make the nail with my brush and not carve it out with a file. Now, of course, I do file, and I will crispen the shape up, and I'll make sure my cuticle area is really, really nice and tight and that everything's even. But you don't have to just lump a whole bunch of product on and then try to find a nail in there. It's just not necessary. So if you are going to spend your time doing one thing, if you're a beginner, I would suggest that one thing being really get your liquid to powder ratio down. That's how you are able to sculpt with a brush and not a file. Because if you're not chasing your product everywhere and you know that your product is going to work for you and not against you, then you're going to have a lot easier of a time. Now that nail I did do on one bead because some of her nails are a little bit different lengths, but don't feel pressured to do stuff in one bead. In this video, you could see that I can do a short nail in one bead, and if you have a bigger brush that can hold more liquid and get a bigger bead, then you can probably do a longer nail in one bead. I wouldn't suggest that because I think when you get into bigger brushes, you're risking contact dermatitis and you're risking a lot of other issues. But I do know some people who they had to have the bigger brush to learn how to do nails. It helped them more. So really it's just trial and error. What works for one person isn't going to work for everybody else. And I mean, that goes with everything, right? Now this brush here is, I believe this is an 8. So this is an Oval 8. This is my nail career education Oval 8 Kolinsky brush. I do love, love, love this brush. She also has brushes in a 6, and I don't normally see brushes in size 6. So I have a few of those, and they are great for fills on short nails. Or sometimes people have really tiny nail beds, and even a size 8 brush is really big. So sometimes a size 6 is nice to have. I would say the biggest brush that I work with personally is a 12. I do have a Kira Sky size 12 brush. Kira Sky has really nice brushes. I just wish they had a cap. I have a 10 and a 12 in the Kira Sky brushes. And you'll even find if you try a whole lot of brushes that an 8 from one brand isn't going to feel like an 8 from another brand. Some 8s feel more like 6s. Some 8s feel more like a 10. And that's kind of how the Kira Sky brushes feel to me. I feel like I don't know if it's because they're not pinched, but they just feel a lot more dense. They feel a lot bigger. So the 12 almost feels more like a 14 to me. So I'll do that if I'm really trying to work quickly and do a 1 bead on a semi-long nail. Or if I'm doing a really long nail. But 8 is usually kind of where I really like to be. So as you can see, I'm adding beads to, the tip. I don't want the tip of it to break. I'm adding beads around the cuticle to just make sure I have enough product there, because I also don't want there to be nothing there and accidentally hit that with a file. And with that, I am finished sculpting. So, I guess not. Do you see how the pinky there that I'm holding, there's a little bit of kind of clear product. I think I got a little overzealous, and then I realized I forgot to record, so I just thought I'd come back to it. And I wanted to add a little bit more product. You can always add, but it's harder to take away. So if maybe you're looking at a nail and, you've been on it for a while and you're not quite sure, my biggest piece of advice would be stop staring at it, go to the next nail, and then come back to it and see, oh, like, how did I sculpt the other ones? Do I think this will be okay? Do I think this is enough product? Or do I need to potentially, add a little bit more? And I hate adding after I have put all my stuff away. So I would rather add now before I start filing than later. On a side note, I hope everybody has been well. I know things are, the world is still crazy. When is the world not crazy? But I feel like now we're in kind of a lull because we're trying to figure out, we're in a place where we're a little bit cautiously optimistic. I know that's how it is where I am in Pennsylvania. And just, life can kind of get crazy sometimes. So I just do hope that everybody is doing well. I know that Kerrigan and I are. So now I'm going to remove the forms. I did speed this part up because I hate filing. So what I do when I take off the form is I pinch the end of it and then I pull it down, and that releases really well from the acrylic. And then I take the tabs off of where they were adhering to her skin. So now I'm just going to, apparently out of frame, tighten up her shape. She doesn't want a super pointy almond, so it's really more like an oval, but she really likes the kind of pointier nail shapes. If you're ever questioning what your ideal nail shape is, it's different for everybody, and obviously everyone has a preference. The only way that you can know is to try different shapes. Personally, on me, I like more tapered or rounded shapes. I really like a pointier a pointier almond or a more tapered coffin on me. I feel like if I have a square like I do in this video, because I did wear square nails for a while, I just feel like I don't know, it makes my nails look, or my fingers look like wider and shorter and fatter. So if you have something with a point because you think your nails are kind of chubby, or they're not very long, maybe they're really short fingers, then drawing your eye to a point will help. It'll help elongate your fingers, kind of like stripes do. So now I am over my Young Nails dust collector, and I'm going to take my medium Kira Sky 5-in-1 bit. I really like the 5-in-1 bits from Kira Sky because they have, they're not a perfect 90 degree at the top of it. It kind of tapers at like a 45 degree angle, so it fits in the cuticle really nicely, and it doesn't burn. And it's not going to cause a ring of fire like a barrel bit might. I still do like barrel bits because I do like to get close to the cuticle. Safety bits are not my friend. I feel like I can't get very close. But the 5-in-1 bits are really, really nice. And I do like this medium bit. This medium bit, I've had it for a while, so it's probably pretty worn down. But you can always downgrade your bits too. So you don't have to feel like, you use your bit for a month or so and then, okay, well, it's not as sharp, then you just throw it away. I kind of use my medium bit now. I don't use it if I need to take off a whole lot of bulk. I just kind of use it to refine, so I use it more like a fine bit. And I also love using my dulled down medium bits to take off gel polish from a natural nail, because it's going to take the product off fast, but it's not going to be crazy abrasive, and it's not going to take it down so fast that I can't control it, and it would get down to the natural nail too quickly. So when I e-file, I am going in one direction. I know it kind of looks like there that I'm not, but I am picking my bit up. I do like to work in one direction, because if you don't, you have a pretty good chance of taking your e-file bit, what I call around the world, and going around their finger. And I use it in a very light tickling motion. Make sure to have it as parallel as I can. I really do like this dust collector too, excuse me. I had a few dust collectors before, and the Young Nails one by far is the absolute best one. I know this is out of frame, and I really apologize. It had been a while since I filmed, but I am now going and taking an arbor band, and I'm just running that over the nail after I use my e-file carbide bit on it. I really like to do that because I feel like it makes a very seamless and polished end nail, and it kind of gets out any of the lumps and bumps that are there. Sometimes you don't always catch them, but you do what you can. So now I'm just putting a little bit of primer on it. So this is the Let's Bond primer from Nail Career Education. I do like to put a little bit of whatever primer is in the line for the acrylic on top of the acrylic before I go in with gel polish. And I feel like this step is one that a lot of people will probably disagree with me on. It's nothing, bad or crazy or harmful, but even though the pinky's out of shot, I'm putting a base coat on top of the acrylics. Now, you don't need a base coat on top of acrylics, but I prefer, when I'm doing some sort of enhancement and doing gel polish over it, I really do like to do a base coat, because I think it makes it smoother. I think it makes the gel polish application smoother. I think it's also easier if you're doing smile lines or something to do it on a base coat, and you want to clean a little bit of it up. You're going to get a crisper line than you would if you were just going on top of a finished filed nail, because it kind of gets into the scratches, the gel polish does. It kind of settles in there. It's really hard to get out, and it makes it not look very crisp at all. So I think a base coat is really the way to go. I personally haven't seen a difference in wear. It doesn't chip any faster on top of acrylic. Gel polish doesn't, that is, chip any faster on top of acrylic. So if there's a step you can cut out that I'm recommending, this one would probably be it. It's just something that I like to do, but if you're also in a rush, I totally get that this might not be something that's super necessary for you. It just kind of depends on what you're doing, but I really like to do it. And I'm going in, this is the Coco & Claire Strong Base Gel. This is just their clear, it's almost like a builder in a bottle, but you use it like a base gel for their gel polishes. I really love Coco & Claire. I know I've mentioned that in a lot of videos, how much I love Coco & Claire. I love their gel polishes. I love their colors. Their colors are beautiful, and they're so highly pigmented, but they're thick. They don't run, which is nice unless you get too close to the cuticle. So this color right here it's one of their newer colors. It's from the Spa collection, and it is, I think it's called Zahara or something like that. It's a very light, peachy, creamy color. It's absolutely gorgeous. I did use this actually for Kerrigan in her wedding nails because she didn't want white, but it's just cream enough that it's not like too pink or it's not too bright. It's really, really beautiful. I'm trying to pull it up here. Okay, it is Zara and it is number 381. And then the pink that I'm going in with is, I have to think about this. I want to say it's the One. Not sure though. That's one of my most popular pinks though. The One is. It's a nice blush pink, kind of medium, like light to medium pink. Since this was in October, and Kerrigan has had a lot of people in her family fight breast cancer. These were breast cancer awareness nails, which is a very, I'm sure it's a very dear cause to a lot of people, but it's also a very dear cause to me because my great grandmother had breast cancer twice. Actually, radical breast cancer was one of those times. And she did beat it twice, and that was in the 70s, so, the medicine was not as advanced as it is now. And she went on to live another, I'm sure, 50 years because she was in her 40s, I believe, when she had breast cancer. And she lived to be 97 years old. So that just goes to show you that if somebody from that era could fight and win, that obviously the technology is a lot more on our side now. And I'm really proud of all of the medical advancements that people have made to fight not only breast cancer but any kind of cancer. So it was really fun to do these nails for Kerrigan. So yes, this is, I believe, number 288, the One. And then we went in with a second coat for all of them. So she went and cured for 60 seconds. Except we're going to do the thumb. Maybe. Maybe not. You always want to make sure you clean anything out of the cuticles before you go. Oh, and on that pinky, I did not nick her. She's a skin biter. So the first gel polish coat, I feel like is always the worst. It's always going to come out looking patchy and crazy, even with the best gel polish, because I really don't want to put it on too thick. But I promise these will look good. So I'm just going in with a second coat for all of those. And then I'm going to do some, shocker, hand-drawn nail art, which I feel like I never do. I hate doing hand-drawn nail art. I love stamping, but I at first thought that I didn't have a cancer ribbon on a stamping plate, but then I looked and I did later on. So really a lot of my stress could have been avoided. But Kerrigan was happy, and that's all that matters. So I'm just going to let you go ahead and watch this. I'm sorry I didn't put any music in, but I'll come back and voice over once I'm starting to do the art. Alright, so now that we have 2 coats on each nail, 2 coats of gel polish anyways, I am going to top coat, and I'm going to break the system. I don't normally like doing this, but I'm going to use Poochie's Nails Super Shine Top Coat because I do love Coco and Claire, don't get me wrong, but their top coats, other than their matte top coat, which is amazing, their shiny top coats are not always my favorite. Their shine top coat is very shiny, but I find that it stains, so I don't like to use it on people who have a super light color on their nails, like this light pink or, cream color or white. But the Poochie's Nails Super Shine Top Coat, it doesn't seem to chip on top of Coco and Claire, and it also seems to be more stain resistant. I don't know what it is about it, but it wears really well on my clients. So I hate to play Chemist Barbie, and I really don't like breaking systems, but sometimes you just kind of have to find what works best and be okay with it not working and having service breakdown. That's something you're always going to risk, but, sometimes you have to go with what is going to aesthetically please your client the best. I know that longevity-wise, like I said, this one has been fine. I forgot to do the thumb. That's okay. Oh, I'm sorry for that adjustment. That's, oh my gosh, going crazy there. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to draw the breast cancer ribbon, which, God bless. So my big tip when you're doing hand-drawn art is have some sort of reference. It's going to go better when you have like a reference photo. And cure, if you like it, cure it. Don't just like leave it because you might mess it up. Don't overthink it either. So just do your best, and hopefully you have a client who's patient like Kerrigan. And I think I even left it in here because I had already done the other hand that I didn't like this version, and I tried to save it, but it didn't work. So, at least I think I did. I don't know. But I do know that I'm using the Coco and Claire gel polish Where's the Party. It's a bright Barbie pink. And it was perfect for this. We did want to do like a kind of a two-toned, nail. I think it was at this point that I was just like, you know what? I'm not trying to fight with this. So sometimes you have to just be willing to. Maybe I did. Did I save it? Wow, I'm proud of myself. I really am more of a stamper. I'm not so much a hand painter. Props to those who can hand paint. It's not that I can't, it's just that I don't like to. So, everybody has their own talents and their own specialties, per se. Hand painting is just not one of mine. And that's okay. Up there it is. I knew that I didn't like it. So, and that's the nice thing about gel polish is that if you hate it, you can just start over and try again. So I'll let you go ahead and watch this. Alright, now that I finally have it the way I like it, I'm going to top coat that nail. Make sure that nice little breast cancer ribbon does not go anywhere. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you made it through this whole video, I wanted to do a full set video, but I knew it was going to be longer because I wanted to show it in real time. So I appreciate you sticking with me. If you have any questions, any requests on videos, on content you would like to see, please let me know, because I'd be happy to oblige, and I really do want to be more consistent and feel inspired. I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy. I hope everybody's doing great. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I do post on my nail Instagram quite a bit. It's at manicured_by_Mackenzie. And subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.